Imagine standing in the heart of a storm, chaos swirling, voices shouting, distractions pulling at every corner of your mind. Yet you remain unshaken, calm, and completely in control. Welcome to ZenLight 8, where we uncover the ancient wisdom of Stoicism to help you master the art of staying unbothered. In today's video, we're diving deep into timeless strategies to build your inner strength, silence the noise, and live with unshakable peace, no matter what life throws your way. Let's begin the journey to your calmest, most powerful self. Right now, the power of unbothered presence. Picture yourself in the middle of Times Square on a Friday evening. Neon lights flash, horns blare, and 1,000 voices compete for attention. Tourists snapping photos, street performers drumming, billboards screaming for your gaze. The air hums with urgency, a relentless pulse of distraction and demand. Now imagine standing there, your breath steady, your mind clear, your heart unshaken. The chaos swirls around you like a river around a stone, but you remain untouched, grounded, whole. This isn't just a fleeting moment of calm. It's a way of being, a superpower forged in the fire of intention. Welcome to the Art of Being Unbothered, a gift the Stoics offered the world over 2 millennia ago, and one that's never been more vital than it is today. At its core, this state isn't about shutting out the world or hardening your heart. It's about cultivating an inner strength so profound that no storm, no noise, no judgment can uproot you. It's about claiming a peace that doesn't depend on the world slowing down but thrives because you've learned to stand still within it. In our modern America, chaos isn't just a backdrop, it's the soundtrack. Scroll through your phone and you're bombarded. Breaking news designed to spike your adrenaline, social media posts begging for your outrage, notifications tugging at your focus like a toddler pulling at your sleeve. At work, emails pile up, deadlines loom, and office politics simmer beneath forced smiles. At home, the TV blares opinions, the kids argue over screen time, and the weight of bills lingers like an uninvited guest. It's as if the world has conspired to keep you reactive, to make you feel like you're always one step behind, one click away from losing your grip. And yet, amidst this whirlwind, there's a truth the Stoics knew and lived. Peace isn't something you find when the noise stops. It's something you build choice by choice, breath by breath, until it becomes the foundation of who you are. To be unbothered isn't to be indifferent or aloof. It's to be so anchored in your values, so clear about your purpose, that the turbulence of the world washes over you without pulling you under. Think about someone like Maya, a single mom in Chicago juggling 2 jobs, a teenager's rebellion, and a landlord who keeps raising the rent. Every day, she faces a barrage of challenges. Late buses, coworkers who gossip, a phone that won't stop buzzing with bad news. But Maya has learned something profound through years of struggle. She can't control the delays, the drama, or the economy, but she can control how she meets them. Each morning, she takes 10 minutes to sit quietly with her coffee, not scrolling, not stressing, but breathing deeply and reminding herself of what matters. Her daughter's smile, her own resilience, the life she's building one determined step at a time. When her boss snaps at her unfairly, she doesn't fire back or stew in resentment. She pauses, lets the sting pass, and responds with calm clarity, not because she's weak, but because she's chosen to protect her peace over proving a point. Maya's life isn't easy, but her spirit is unshakable. She's mastered the art of being unbothered, not by ignoring her pain, but by refusing to let it define her. This strength isn't reserved for ancient philosophers or modern-day saints. It's already within you, waiting to be uncovered, like a flame that's been smoldering beneath the ash of distraction. The Stoics, like Zeno standing serene in the chaos of an Athenian market, didn't achieve this calm by escaping life's messiness. They dove into it, eyes open, heart steady, knowing that true power lies not in controlling the world but in mastering yourself within it. Today, that lesson feels like a lifeline. Consider the last time you felt overwhelmed. Maybe it was a heated argument at a family barbecue, where everyone was shouting over politics, or a work meeting where criticism felt personal, or even a quiet moment alone when your mind raced with worries about tomorrow. What if, in that moment, you could step back, not physically but mentally, and see the chaos for what it is. A storm that doesn't have to become your own. What if you could choose to respond, not react, to act from clarity, not impulse? That choice is the essence of being unbothered, and it's a skill you can cultivate, just like learning to ride a bike or cook a perfect meal. Being unbothered doesn't mean you stop caring. It's not about turning cold to the world's beauty or pain. It's about caring so deeply about what matters, your values, your loved ones, your purpose, that you refuse to waste your energy on what doesn't. It's saying no to the petty argument so you can say yes to a meaningful conversation. It's letting go of the stranger's judgment so you can hold onto your self-respect. It's choosing to breathe through the traffic jam so you can arrive home ready to hug your kids instead of snapping at them. This is strength, not weakness. It's power, not passivity. It's the courage to stand firm in a world that profits from your fragmentation, to hold your shape when everything around you demands you bend. Look at someone like John, a high school teacher in Atlanta who faces a classroom of restless teens every day. The kids test his patience, the administration piles on paperwork, and parents sometimes question his every move. But John doesn't let the noise pull him apart. He starts each class with a moment of silence, not to preach, but to center himself and his students, to remind them all that this moment is theirs to shape. When a student lashes out, he doesn't take it personally. He sees their frustration as a signal of their own struggles, not a verdict on his worth. By staying calm, he becomes a steady presence, a lighthouse for kids navigating their own storms. His colleagues notice it too. When tensions rise in the break room, John's quiet humor and steady voice bring the temperature down. He's not perfect. He has bad days, moments of doubt. But he's committed to returning to his center, to choosing peace over chaos. And that choice ripples outward, touching lives he'll never fully know. This is the promise of being unbothered. Not a life without problems, but a life where problems don't own you. It's a freedom that comes not from changing the world, but from changing how you move through it. It's a clarity that cuts through the fog of modern life, a strength that grows not from avoiding pain, but from meeting it with grace. You don't need a quieter world to find peace. You need a stronger you. And that strength is built in the small, deliberate moments. The breath you take before answering a cruel email, the smile you offer when you'd rather frown, the decision to keep going when you'd rather quit. These are the bricks of your inner fortress, the steps toward a life where calm isn't borrowed but owned. As we stand at the edge of this truth, ready to dive deeper into the Stoic path, there's a question waiting for us. How do we know what to hold on to and what to let go? That's where our journey takes us next, into the compass that points us toward true control. The control compass, mastering what's yours. Imagine you're driving down a busy freeway in Los Angeles, the sun dipping low, casting a golden haze over the endless stream of cars. Traffic is crawling, horns are blaring, and your phone lights up with a text from your boss demanding a report by morning. Your stomach tightens, your mind races. Why is this always happening to me? Now picture this. Instead of gripping the wheel tighter, instead of cursing the car that just cut you off, you take a slow, deliberate breath. You remind yourself that the traffic isn't yours to command, nor is your boss's mood or the setting sun, but your thoughts, your attitude, the way you carry this moment, those are yours and yours alone. This is the Stoic compass of control, a tool so simple yet so profound it can anchor you in the wildest storms of life. It's not about bending the world to your will. It's about mastering the one thing you were always meant to steer, yourself. The Stoics, like Epictetus, who rose from slavery to wisdom, taught us a truth that cuts through the clutter of modern life. Some things are up to us, and some things are not. It sounds basic, almost obvious, but let's be honest. How often do we live as if it's not? How often do we waste our energy wrestling with what we can't change? We fume over a coworker's snarky comment, as if our anger could rewrite their words. We stress about the weather ruining our weekend plans, as if our worry could part the clouds. We replay past mistakes in our heads, as if regret could undo what's done. In America today, where we're taught to hustle, to control outcomes, to make it happen, this urge to dominate everything is practically stitched into our culture. We're sold the idea that success means mastering the world, getting the promotion, fixing the economy, winning the argument. But the Stoics saw through that illusion. They knew that trying to control the uncontrollable is like shouting at the ocean to stop its waves. You only exhaust yourself, and the tide keeps rolling. What's within your control, then? It's not the traffic jam, but how you sit in it. Whether you let it ruin your evening or use it to listen to a podcast that lifts your spirit. It's not your coworker's attitude, but the way you respond. Whether you snap back or choose a reply that keeps your dignity intact. It's not the past, but the lesson you carry from it. Not the future, but the intention you set for it. This compass points to your thoughts, your actions, your reactions, the sacred territory of your inner world. And here's the magic. When you focus on what's yours, the rest doesn't vanish, but it loses its grip on you. The chaos becomes background noise, not the dictator of your peace. Take Sarah, a nurse in a bustling Seattle hospital. Her days are a whirlwind. Patients in crisis, doctors barking orders, charts piling up. One morning, a colleague snaps at her for a scheduling mix-up she didn't cause. The old Sarah might have spiraled, replaying the moment, feeling attacked, letting it sour her shift. But Sarah's been practicing the Stoic compass. She pauses, asks herself, is this person's frustration mine to fix? No, it's not. What is hers? Her kindness, her focus, her commitment to her patients. So she lets the comment slide, not out of weakness, but because she's choosing where to place her energy. Later, when a patient thanks her for her warmth, she doesn't cling to the praise either. She smiles, grateful, but keeps moving. Sarah's not chasing approval or dodging criticism. She's steering her own ship, and that makes her unshakable. This practice isn't about apathy. It's about precision. It's about refusing to scatter your strength on battles that aren't yours. Think of a chef in a high-pressure New York kitchen, plates flying, orders stacking up. He can't control the picky customer or the delivery truck stuck in traffic. But he can control the flick of his wrist as he seasons the dish, the calm he brings to his team when tempers flare. That focus doesn't just make the meal better, it makes him better. It's the same for all of us. When you stop fighting the wind and start adjusting your sails, you don't just survive the storm. You learn to sail through it with grace. But let's get real. This isn't easy. America loves instant fixes. Pop a pill, swipe an app, vent on social media. The Stoic compass asks for something harder. Discipline. It asks you to pause when you want to react, to breathe when you want to shout, to let go when you want to cling. It's not a one-time trick. It's a muscle you build. Start small. The next time you're stuck in line at the grocery store, don't curse the slow cashier. Ask, what's mine here? Maybe it's patience. Maybe it's noticing the tired smile of the person bagging your groceries and offering a kind word. These moments aren't trivial. They're training grounds for a life where peace isn't borrowed from perfect circumstances, but grown from your choices. What's beautiful about this compass is its universality. It works whether you're a CEO navigating boardroom drama or a student juggling finals and a part-time job. It works in a country where division runs deep, where every news cycle feels like a tug of war over your soul. You can't control the headlines, but you can control whether you doom scroll or set your phone down to take a walk. You can't control your neighbor's yard sign, but you can control the respect you show when you wave hello. These choices don't change the world overnight, but they change you. And a changed you is the seed of a better world. This isn't about ignoring reality. It's about engaging with it wisely. It's about knowing that your power lies not in fixing everything, but in choosing what deserves your attention. It's about standing in the rush of life, whether it's a crowded subway or a family argument, and saying, this is mine to shape. That clarity is freedom. It's the freedom to live not as a victim of circumstance, but as an architect of your own peace. And yet, even as we learn to steer what's ours, there's another layer to this art. What do we do with the emotions that rise when the world tests us? How do we handle the heat of anger, the weight of fear, the sting of rejection? That's where our journey takes us next, into the alchemy of turning raw feelings into radiant strength. Emotional alchemy, turning heat into light. Close your eyes for a moment and think back to a time you felt your blood boil. Maybe it was a coworker's careless remark during a Zoom call, or a stranger cutting you off in traffic, or even a loved one's words that hit harder than they meant to. Your chest tightens, your pulse quickens, your mind screams to react, to snap back, to defend, to make it right. It's human, primal, as old as our bones. But now imagine this. Instead of letting that fire consume you, you pause. You breathe. You let the heat settle, not to suppress it, but to shape it. In that sacred pause, you transform anger into clarity, fear into courage, pain into wisdom. This is emotional alchemy, the Stoic art of turning the raw chaos of feeling into the refined gold of insight. It's not about silencing your emotions. It's about listening to them so deeply that they become your teachers, not your tyrants. In America today, we're taught to wear our emotions like badges. Anger as strength, sadness as authenticity, fear as urgency. Social media amplifies it. Vent your rage in a tweet, cry on a live stream, let the world know you're feeling something. But the Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius scribbling to himself in the quiet of his tent, saw emotions differently. They weren't to be flaunted or buried. They were to be understood, processed, forged into something greater. To be unbothered doesn't mean you don't feel the sting of life's arrows. It means you've learned to pull them out without letting them poison you. It means you've trained yourself to pause between the spark of emotion and the act of response, creating a space where freedom lives. That pause is everything. It's the difference between a shouted argument that leaves you drained and a measured conversation that builds understanding. It's the gap between a knee-jerk text you regret and a thoughtful reply that strengthens a bond. It's the moment where you choose who you want to be, not who your emotions demand you become. Let's meet James, a firefighter in Austin, Texas, whose job throws him into chaos daily. Flames, smoke, lives on the line. One day, a rookie on his team makes a mistake that costs precious time. James feels the anger surge, the urge to yell, to point fingers. But he's been here before, and he knows that anger unleashed is a fire that spreads. So he pauses, lets the heat rise and fall, and asks himself, what's needed now? Clarity emerges, calm direction, not blame, will save the moment. He pulls the rookie aside, explains the error with steady firmness, and gets the team back on track. That pause didn't just save the day, it built trust, it shaped a better firefighter, it reminded James who he is. This alchemy isn't about pretending you're above emotion. It's about diving into it with courage, like a blacksmith plunging iron into the forge. Emotions aren't your enemy, they're raw material. Anger can burn away illusion, revealing what matters. Fear can point to where you need to grow. Sadness can carve space for deeper compassion. But left unchecked, they can also destroy. Anger becomes cruelty. Fear becomes paralysis. Sadness becomes despair. The Stoic doesn't bury these feelings under a mask of toughness. They face them, listen to them, shape them. They know that what's buried festers, but what's processed transforms. Consider Lisa, a high school senior in rural Ohio, navigating the pressure of college applications and a home where money's tight. When she gets a rejection letter from her dream school, the pain hits hard. Tears come. Self-doubt creeps in. The world feels unfair. Her instinct is to shut down, to let the hurt define her. But Lisa's been learning to pause, to sit with her emotions instead of running from them. She grabs a notebook, writes what she feels. The sting, the fear, the hope still flickering beneath it all. In that act, she sees the rejection not as a verdict on her worth, but as a detour, a chance to rethink her path. The sadness doesn't vanish, but it softens, making room for resilience. She applies to another school, volunteers at a local shelter, and finds joy in small wins. Her pain didn't break her, it deepened her. This process is universal. Whether you're a parent soothing a tantruming toddler or a manager defusing a team conflict, it's not about being perfect, it's about being present. America loves the idea of keeping it real, but real isn't always raw. Real is choosing to feel deeply without letting those feelings hijack you. It's knowing that anger doesn't have to mean yelling, that fear doesn't have to mean freezing, that sadness doesn't have to mean giving up. The pause is your power, and the more you practice it, the wider it grows. Start small. The next time you feel triggered, maybe by a friend's passive-aggressive comment or a news headline that makes your blood boil, don't act. Breathe. Ask, what's this feeling telling me? How can I use it? Maybe that irritation is a signal to set a boundary. Maybe that anxiety is a nudge to prepare, not panic. Every emotion is a messenger, but you decide what to do with the message. What's radical about this alchemy is how it shifts your relationship with life. You stop being a victim of your feelings and start being their guide. You don't just endure the heat, you wield it. Think of a musician in a Nashville bar, pouring her heart into a song about loss. The crowd feels her pain, but she's not drowning in it. She's channeling it, turning raw grief into beauty that lifts everyone in the room. That's what you can do with every emotion, every day. Anger can fuel action, not destruction. Fear can sharpen focus, not scatter it. Pain can teach patience, not bitterness. This isn't suppression, it's creation. It's taking the chaos within and crafting something whole, something true. And it's not just about you. When you master this alchemy, you become a beacon for others. Your calm in a heated moment invites others to breathe. Your clarity in confusion offers a path through the fog. You become the person who doesn't escalate the drama but dissolves it, not because you're louder, but because you're steadier. In a culture that thrives on reaction, clickbait, hot takes, viral rants, your pause is revolutionary. It's a quiet rebellion against a world that wants you to explode or implode. It's a choice to live not as a spark that burns out, but as a flame that endures, warming without consuming. This alchemy takes practice, and you'll stumble. You'll snap when you meant to listen, retreat when you meant to engage. That's okay. Every misstep is a lesson, every pause a victory. The Stoics weren't saints, they were humans like you who chose to keep showing up, to keep forging, to keep choosing light over heat. You can too. The next time life hands you a surge of emotion, see it not as a burden but as an opportunity. Pause, listen, shape. You're not just feeling, you're becoming. But what happens when the world's noise doesn't just stir your emotions? It tries to define you. How do you stand firm when praise lifts you too high or criticism cuts too deep? That's where our path leads next, into the armor that protects your peace without closing your heart. The armor of indifference, letting praise and criticism pass. Picture yourself at a bustling coffee shop in downtown Denver, the air thick with the scent of roasted beans and the hum of conversation. You're sipping your latte, scrolling through your phone, when a notification pops up, a colleague's email praising your latest project, calling you a rock star. Your chest swells, a grin creeps across your face. But then, another ping, a comment on your social media post, sharp and critical, accusing you of getting it all wrong. Suddenly, the high of praise crashes into the sting of judgment, and you're caught in a tug-of-war between ego and doubt. Sound familiar? It's the human dance we all know too well, swaying to the rhythm of others' opinions. But what if you could step out of that dance entirely? What if you could hear both the applause and the boos and let them pass like a breeze through an open window, neither clinging to them nor pushing them away? This is the Stoic armor of indifference. Not a cold wall that shuts out the world, but a quiet clarity that keeps your worth anchored within you. The Stoics, like Seneca sitting calmly amid Rome's political storms, understood a truth we often forget. Praise and criticism don't define you. They're mirrors held up by others, reflecting their own perspectives, moods, and insecurities. In modern America, where likes, retweets, and 5-star reviews shape everything from careers to self-esteem, this idea feels radical. We're wired to chase validation. Think of the influencer refreshing their feed for comments, the employee angling for a boss's nod, the parent hoping their kid's teacher sees their effort. And when criticism lands, a bad Yelp review, a friend's side-eye, a stranger's hot take, it can feel like a punch to the gut. We take it personally, as if someone else's words could rewrite who we are. But the Stoics saw through this trap. They called external judgments adiaphora, indifferent things, neither good nor bad in themselves. Your character, your actions, your integrity, those are what make you. The rest is just noise. This doesn't mean you ignore feedback or close your heart to others. It means you stop outsourcing your self-worth to the crowd. Let's meet Rachel, a graphic designer in San Francisco who's spent years perfecting her craft. At a gallery showing, a client gushes over her work, predicting she'll be the next big thing. Rachel smiles, grateful, but doesn't let the praise inflate her. She knows it's one person's excitement, not a crown she must wear. Later, another guest critiques her piece harshly, calling it uninspired. The old Rachel might have spiraled, questioning her talent, her path. But now, she listens, considers if there's truth to learn, and lets the rest go. Why? Because she's learned that neither praise nor criticism is the measure of her art or her soul. Her worth lies in the hours she's poured into her sketches, the joy she feels creating, the quiet pride of knowing she gave her all. That's her anchor, and no one's words can shake it. This armor of indifference is about discernment, not detachment. It's about seeing others' opinions for what they are. Fleeting, subjective, often more about them than you. Think of a high school coach in Texas, standing on the sidelines as parents cheer or jeer his play calls. He can't control their shouts, but he can control his focus, teaching his players, refining their skills, staying true to the game he loves. When a dad praises his strategy, he nods but doesn't bask. When another calls him a failure, he breathes but doesn't flinch. He knows their words are snapshots of their emotions, not verdicts on his life. By letting both pass, he stays steady, a rock for his team in a sea of noise. In America, we're bombarded with mirrors, some flattering, some cruel. Social media amplifies it. One day you're a hero in the group chat, the next you're canceled for a misstep. Cable news thrives on judgment, turning every issue into a battle of who's right and who's wrong. Even family dinners can feel like courtrooms, with uncles debating your choices over mashed potatoes. It's tempting to grab those mirrors, to stare into the praise until your ego balloons or recoil from the criticism until you shrink. But when you do, you hand over your power. You let someone else's lens distort your truth. The Stoic chooses differently. They say, "Thank you for your opinion," and keep walking, not out of arrogance, but out of self-respect. They know their reflection isn't found in others' eyes, but in their own values, their daily choices, the quiet moments when no one's watching. This takes practice, especially in a culture that measures you by clicks and clout. Start small. The next time someone compliments you, maybe your coworker loves your presentation. Smile, say thanks, but don't let it become your identity. You're not amazing because they said so. You're you doing your work with care. And when criticism comes, say a friend questions your decision to switch jobs. Listen for what's useful, then release the rest. Ask yourself, does this change who I am? 9 times out of 10, it doesn't. Write it down if it helps. At the end of the week, look back and see how often you gave others the keys to your peace. Then take them back one by one. What's liberating about this armor is how it frees you to connect. When you're not swayed by every word, you can listen deeply, really hear what someone's saying, not just how it affects you. You can love without needing constant reassurance, work without craving applause, live without dodging judgment. You become present, not performative. Think of a barista in Chicago, smiling through a customer's rant about a wrong order. She doesn't take it personally. She sees their stress, not her failure. Her calm doesn't just defuse the moment. It reminds everyone around her that peace is possible, even in a rush hour line. This indifference isn't coldness, it's clarity. It's not about building walls, but about standing firm, like a tree that bends in the wind but doesn't break. You don't stop feeling the breeze of others' words. You just stop letting it uproot you. You learn to say, "This isn't mine," and let it pass, not because you're above it, but because you're grounded in something deeper. Your worth isn't borrowed from the crowd. It's built from within, brick by brick, choice by choice. And that foundation lets you walk through life with a quiet power, untouched by the noise but open to the beauty. As we learn to let praise and criticism flow past us, another question arises. Where do we root ourselves when the world keeps spinning? How do we find peace when the past pulls us back and the future looms ahead? That's where our journey takes us next, into the stillness that lives only in the present moment. Stillness in motion, embracing the power of now. Imagine you're sitting on a park bench in Central Park, New York City, on a crisp autumn afternoon. Leaves drift lazily to the ground. Joggers pass with rhythmic steps, and the distant hum of traffic blends with laughter from a nearby playground. Your phone buzzes with a work email, your mind drifts to a fight you had last week, and a nagging worry about next month's bills creeps in. The world around you is alive, vibrant, but inside, you're anywhere but here, lost in yesterday's regrets or tomorrow's what-ifs. Now picture this. You close your eyes, take a slow breath, and let those thoughts slip away. You feel the cool bench beneath you, hear the rustle of leaves, smell the faint earthiness of fall. For this one moment, you're fully here, fully alive. This is stillness in motion, the Stoic practice of rooting yourself in the present, the only place where peace can truly live. The Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius reflecting under the stars of a Roman battlefield, knew that the past is gone and the future is unwritten. Yet in modern America, we're trained to live everywhere but now. We scroll through old photos, aching for days we can't reclaim. We obsess over 5-year plans, as if we can predict life's twists. We're so busy chasing someday or morning back then, that we miss the only moment we actually have. This one. Right here. Right now. The present isn't just a fleeting second. It's the stage where your life unfolds, the ground where your choices take root, the breath where your strength is born. To be unbothered isn't about escaping time's flow. It's about moving with it, fully engaged, fully awake, without being dragged by what was or what might be. In a culture that glorifies hustle, where every ad, app, and influencer pushes you to do more, be more, plan more, this focus on the now feels like rebellion. We're told peace comes later, after the promotion, the vacation, the perfect life. But the Stoics saw through that lie. Peace isn't a destination. It's a practice. It's not found by silencing the world, but by listening to this moment with your whole being. Think of Maria, a single dad in Miami running a small auto shop. His days are packed. Customers haggling, suppliers calling, his son texting about homework. Yesterday's missed payment stings, and tomorrow's rent looms. But Maria's found a secret. Every morning, he steps outside before opening the shop, closes his eyes, and feels the sun on his face. For 5 minutes, he's not a debtor, a father, a boss. He's just here, breathing, alive. When a customer snaps later, he doesn't spiral into worry about his business. He focuses on the task at hand, fixing the car one bolt at a time. That presence doesn't erase his problems, but it makes them manageable, because he's meeting them now, not in the shadow of yesterday or the haze of tomorrow. This stillness isn't about sitting cross-legged on a mountaintop. It's about carrying calm into the chaos of everyday life. Whether you're stuck in Atlanta traffic, juggling Zoom calls in Seattle, or folding laundry in a Chicago apartment, it's about noticing the weight of the steering wheel, the click of your keyboard, the softness of a towel, and letting those details anchor you. The present is where your power lies, not in rewriting the past or controlling the future, but in acting wisely now. It's where you choose to smile at a stranger, to listen to a friend, to take one step toward a goal. Each moment is a brushstroke on the canvas of your life, and only in the now can you paint with intention. Let's be honest. Living in the present is hard. America runs on distraction screens, schedules, endless to-do lists. We're conditioned to multitask, to think 3 steps ahead, to dwell on what went wrong. But the cost is steep. When you're not here, you're not whole. You're fragmented, stretched thin, missing the richness of your own life. Think of a teacher in Portland, standing before a class of restless 9th graders. She's tempted to worry about the parent meeting later or the lesson that flopped yesterday. But when she focuses on this moment, the spark in a student's eye, the chalk in her hand, the question hanging in the air, she comes alive. The kids feel it too. Her presence pulls them in, makes them listen, makes them care. She's not just teaching. She's transforming, because she's fully here. This practice starts small. Try it today. Set a timer for every hour, and when it chimes, pause. Ask, am I here? Feel your feet on the floor, your breath in your chest. Notice the light in the room, the sound of your own thoughts. If you're drifting to the past or racing to the future, gently come back. It's not about perfection. It's about returning, again and again, until the present feels like home. The more you do this, the more time expands. The world slows down. You start to see what you've missed. The way your dog's tail wags when you walk in, the warmth of a mug in your hands, the fleeting smile of a cashier. These aren't just moments. They're gifts, reminders that life isn't somewhere else. It's right here. What's profound about this stillness is how it reshapes your relationship with life's challenges. In the present, problems shrink to their true size. That looming deadline is just today's task, one email at a time. That old regret is not here unless you drag it in. The future's uncertainty is not yours to solve right now. This focus doesn't make pain vanish, it makes it bearable, because you're not carrying yesterday's weight or tomorrow's fear. You're just carrying this moment, and this moment is enough. And when you live this way, you become a gift to others. Your presence is contagious. Think of a nurse in a busy ER, moving with calm purpose while alarms beep and families panic. Her steady voice, her focused eyes, they don't just heal bodies, they soothe souls. She's not thinking about her last shift or her next one. She's here now, and that makes all the difference. You can be that person too, in a boardroom, a classroom, a kitchen. When you're fully present, you're not just living, you're radiating, offering a quiet invitation to everyone around you to slow down, to breathe, to be. This stillness in motion is the heart of being unbothered. Not because you've escaped life's rush, but because you've learned to dance with it, one step at a time. It's the courage to let the past rest and the future wait, to trust that this moment holds everything you need. It's the freedom to live not in your head but in your life, where every breath is a chance to begin again. But presence alone isn't enough to weather life's storms. What happens when discomfort knocks, when hardship tests your calm? That's where our path leads next, into the strength that grows from embracing challenge with open eyes. Voluntary discomfort, forging strength through choice. Picture yourself standing at the edge of a cold lake in Minnesota, the early morning air sharp against your skin, the water glinting like a challenge under the dawn's pale light. Your heart races, your body tenses. Every instinct screams to stay warm, to stay safe, to turn back to the comfort of your cozy cabin. But instead, you take a deep breath, step forward, and plunge in. The shock hits like 1,000 needles, but as you surface, gasping, something shifts. You're alive, awake, stronger than you were a moment ago. This is voluntary discomfort, the Stoic practice of choosing hardship not to suffer, but to grow. It's about stepping into the cold, the hunger, the silence. Not because you love pain, but because you love what it reveals. A resilience deeper than you knew, a courage that no storm can shake. In modern America, comfort is king. We're surrounded by it. Heated seats, same-day delivery, endless streaming to numb any restless moment. Our culture sells ease as the ultimate goal. Why struggle when you can swipe, click, or order your way to instant gratification? But the Stoics, like Seneca who traded his senator's luxury for simple meals and rough beds, saw comfort's hidden cost. The more we insulate ourselves, the softer we become, not just in body, but in spirit. Every convenience dulls our edge. Every indulgence shrinks our tolerance for life's inevitable hardships. A late Uber, a power outage, a harsh word. These shouldn't unravel us, but they do when we've spent years dodging anything that stings. Voluntary discomfort flips the script. It's not about glorifying pain. It's about preparing for life. It's about choosing small challenges now so the big ones don't break you later. Think of discomfort as a gym for your soul. Just as a weightlifter lifts heavy to grow strong, the Stoic embraces hardship to build grit. It's not punishment, it's training. Let's meet Ethan, a software engineer in Silicon Valley who felt trapped by his cushy routine. Endless coffee runs, climate-controlled offices, seamless dinners. He was successful by every measure, but a single bad review or a missed deadline would send him spiraling, questioning his worth. Then he stumbled across Stoicism and decided to experiment. Once a week, he started taking cold showers, 30 seconds at first, then a minute. The first time, he cursed the icy blast, but he kept going. Soon, he added fasting 1 day a month, skipping his usual takeout to eat plain rice and beans. He didn't do it to boast or suffer. He did it to learn. Each plunge, each plain meal, stripped away his fear of not enough. When a project crashed at work, he didn't panic. He'd felt worse under a cold shower and survived. Ethan's not a monk, he still loves his Netflix binges, but he's tougher now, not because life got easier, but because he got stronger. This practice isn't about extremes. You don't need to sleep on the floor or trek into the wilderness, though you could. It's about small, deliberate choices that stretch you. Skip your morning latte and sit with the craving. Turn off your phone for an hour and face the silence. Walk to the store instead of driving, even when it's drizzling. These aren't random acts. They're rehearsals for life's unpredictability. In America, where we're bombarded with ads promising easy everything, this choice feels radical. It's saying no to the culture of comfort and yes to the power of readiness. It's trading short-term pleasure for long-term strength, not because you hate joy, but because you love freedom, the freedom to face a crisis without crumbling, to lose something precious and still stand tall. Consider Mia, a single mom in Detroit working 2 jobs to keep the lights on. Life's already hard. Leaky pipes, overdue bills, a boss who doesn't care. But Mia's learned to lean into discomfort on her terms. Once a week, she skips her usual TV unwind and sits in quiet, journaling her fears and dreams. It's not easy. Her mind races, her hands itch for the remote. But those moments teach her she's not her stress. When her car breaks down, she doesn't fall apart. She sat with worse in her silent evenings and found her way through. Mia's discomfort isn't a luxury. It's a lifeline. It's proof she's bigger than her circumstances, stronger than the chaos trying to claim her. What's beautiful about voluntary discomfort is how it rewrites your relationship with fear. The Stoics didn't run from hardship. They invited it, not recklessly, but purposefully. They knew fear grows in the dark of avoidance. Face it and it shrinks. That cold shower? It's not just water. It's a mirror showing you what you're made of. That skipped meal? It's not hunger. It's a reminder you're not ruled by want. That walk in the rain is not inconvenience. It's evidence you can handle more than you think. Each choice is a vote for your resilience, a step toward a life where setbacks don't scare you because you've already walked through fire you chose. This isn't about being fearless. It's about being familiar with fear. In a country where we're taught to avoid pain at all costs, pop a pill, buy a gadget, scroll past the hard stuff. Choosing discomfort is revolutionary. It's not masochism. It's wisdom. It's knowing that life will test you, and you'd rather be ready than blindsided. Think of a marathon runner in Chicago, training through winter's bite. Every icy mile prepares her for race day, not because she loves the cold, but because she loves the finish line. Your discomfort is your training ground, building a strength that doesn't shout but endures, a courage that doesn't need applause but shines in silence. And the reward is not just toughness, it's clarity. Discomfort strips away illusion, showing you what matters. When you've gone without, you value what you have. When you've faced the cold, you cherish warmth. When you've sat with silence, you hear your own voice clearer. You stop chasing comfort as a god and start seeing it as a tool, one you use, not one that uses you. You become the kind of person who can lose a job and keep moving, who can face rejection and keep loving, who can stand in a storm and still breathe. Not because you're unbreakable, but because you've broken yourself in gently on your terms and learned you're stronger than you ever feared. As we forge this resilience through chosen challenges, we begin to see something else. A sanctuary within us, untouched by the world's chaos. How do we build that sacred space, that fortress of peace no storm can breach? That's where our journey takes us next. The inner citadel, building your unshakable core. Close your eyes and imagine a lighthouse standing firm on a rocky New England coast. Waves crash, winds howl, and fog blankets the horizon. But the lighthouse holds steady, its beam cutting through the dark, guiding ships to safety. Now picture that lighthouse inside you, not made of stone, but of values, reason, and quiet resolve. This is your inner citadel, the Stoic sanctuary where no insult can wound, no loss can shatter, and no chaos can trespass. It's not a place you're given. It's a place you build, thought by thought, choice by choice, until it becomes the home you return to when the world grows loud. In a life full of noise, deadlines, arguments, endless notifications. This citadel is your refuge, your strength, your unshakable core. The Stoics, like Epictetus who found freedom within the chains of slavery, taught that true power lies not in controlling the world, but in guarding your inner peace. In America today, that feels like a radical act. We're surrounded by forces vying for our attention. News cycles that thrive on fear, social media that feeds on comparison, even well-meaning friends who pull us into their dramas. It's easy to feel like a leaf in a storm, tossed by every gust of opinion, every twist of fate. But the Stoics knew better. They knew you could create a space within, a fortress no one could touch, where your clarity, your purpose, your truth remain sovereign. This citadel isn't built with walls to keep the world out. It's built with roots to keep you grounded, no matter what comes. Let's meet David, a middle school teacher in Phoenix who faces a daily gauntlet. Rowdy students, budget cuts, parents who question his every move. Last year, a viral video of a classroom prank left him humiliated, the internet piling on with cruel comments. For weeks, he felt exposed, his confidence fraying. Then he started building his citadel. Each night, he'd sit quietly, no phone, no TV, just a notebook and a question. What do I stand for? He wrote about kindness, patience, the belief that every kid deserves a chance. When the noise of criticism crept in, he'd return to those words, to that still space where his values lived. Slowly, the world's judgments lost their sting. Now, when a student acts out or a colleague gossips, David doesn't react. He retreats inward, not to hide, but to remember who he is. His citadel isn't perfect, but it's his, and it's stronger every day. Building this sanctuary takes intention, especially in a culture that rewards reaction over reflection. America loves speed, fast food, instant replies, hot takes. But the citadel grows in slowness, in the quiet moments you claim for yourself. It starts with knowing your values, not what your boss wants, not what Instagram celebrates, but what makes you proud when no one's watching. Is it honesty, compassion, perseverance? Write them down, speak them aloud, let them sink into your bones. Then protect them. When life tempts you to betray them, to snap in anger, to chase approval, to cut corners, pause. Return to that inner space and ask, is this mine to carry? More often than not, it's not. The gossip, the grudge, the pressure to perform, they belong to the world, not your soul. This practice isn't about perfection. It's about persistence. Think of Anna, a nurse practitioner in rural Georgia, whose days are a blur of patience, paperwork, and a toddler at home. She used to collapse each night, drained by complaints, a patient's rudeness, a coworker's oversight, her own guilt over missing bedtime stories. Then she started carving out 5 minutes each morning, sitting on her porch with a cup of tea, no screens, just silence. In that stillness, she'd remind herself of her core, to heal, to listen, to show up, even when it's hard. When a patient snaps or a chart gets lost, she feels the frustration but doesn't let it linger. She closes her eyes for a second, breathes, and steps back into her citadel, where her purpose waits. That brief return keeps her steady, not superhuman, but human in the best way. The citadel isn't a retreat from life. It's a base for living it better. It's where you recharge when the world demands too much, where you reflect when emotions cloud your view, where you choose deliberately instead of reacting blindly. In America, where we're taught to measure ourselves by output, how much we earn, post, achieve, this inner focus feels like defiance. It's saying, I am enough, not because of what I do, but because of who I am. It's choosing to define yourself by your principles, not your paycheck or your follower count. And when you do, something shifts. The world's chaos doesn't vanish, but it loses its power to define you. You become a lighthouse, not just for yourself, but for others. A steady presence in a stormy sea. This building process is daily, quiet, often invisible. It's the moment you choose forgiveness over bitterness when a friend lets you down. It's the breath you take before answering a heated email. It's the ritual you create, maybe a walk, a prayer, a mantra that pulls you back to center. For some, it's journaling under lamplight. For others, it's a run through city streets, each step a return to clarity. Whatever your method, it's yours and it's sacred. It's not about escaping reality but anchoring in it. So when life hurls its waves, betrayal, loss, uncertainty, you don't drown. You stand, not because you're untouched, but because you've built something stronger than the storm. What's profound about the Citadel is its permanence. Jobs fade, relationships shift, trends die, but this inner space endures. It's your safe harbor, your North Star, your truth when the world lies. And the more you return to it, the clearer it becomes. You start to see through the noise, through the flattery that tempts your ego, the criticism that tests your heart, the chaos that begs for your panic. You learn to say, "This cannot enter," not out of fear, but out of strength. You learn to rest in your own knowing, to trust your own voice, to live from a place no one can take. As we fortify this inner sanctuary, we begin to wonder, who are we truly beneath the world's labels? How do we meet ourselves with honesty, not judgment, to deepen our peace? That's where our path leads next, into the mirror that reveals our truest reflection. The Stoic mirror, knowing yourself without judgment. Imagine standing in front of a mirror in a quiet Brooklyn apartment, the morning light spilling through a cracked window. You're not checking your hair or straightening your tie. You're looking deeper, past the surface, into the person you are today. Not the you that others see, not the you that's polished for Instagram or polished for a job interview, but the raw, unfiltered truth. Your strengths, your flaws, your hopes, your fears. No one's watching, no one's judging, except, perhaps, you. But what if you could let that judgment go? What if you could meet your reflection with curiosity instead of criticism, with honesty instead of hype? This is the Stoic mirror, the practice of self-awareness that doesn't puff you up or tear you down but grounds you in a truth so clear it becomes your compass. To be unbothered in a world that pulls you in 1,000 directions, you must first know who you are, not as a performance, but as a presence. The Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius scribbling notes to himself under a flickering lamp, believed that self-knowledge is the foundation of a steady life. Without it, you're a ship without an anchor, swayed by every wave of emotion, every gust of opinion. In modern America, self-awareness often gets hijacked by self-help gurus promising you're destined for greatness, by social media filters that hide your imperfections, by a culture that equates doubt with failure. We're taught to either inflate ourselves with affirmations or shrink under harsh self-criticism, as if there's no middle ground. But the Stoics found that middle ground, a quiet, unflinching honesty that sees you as you are, flawed, growing, human, and embraces it all without shame or pride. This mirror doesn't distort. It reveals, and in that revelation lies your power to stay centered when the world tries to pull you apart. Let's meet Claire, a marketing manager in Austin who used to define herself by externals. Her corner office, her LinkedIn likes, her packed social calendar. But when a major campaign flopped, the praise she'd leaned on turned to whispers of doubt. She felt lost, untethered, as if her worth had vanished with her success. Then she started a simple practice. Every evening, she'd sit with a journal and ask 3 questions. What did I do well today? Where did I stumble? What can I do better tomorrow? No fluff, no self-flagellation, just truth. She noticed patterns. Her knack for inspiring her team, her tendency to rush decisions under pressure, her value of creativity over perfection. Some days the answers stung. She'd snapped at a colleague, ignored a gut feeling, but she didn't beat herself up. She learned. When her next project hit a snag, she didn't spiral. She knew her strengths could carry her and her weaknesses were just places to grow. Claire's mirror didn't lie, and because of it, she stood taller, not because she was perfect, but because she was real. This self-awareness isn't navel-gazing. It's navigation. In America, where we're bombarded with noise, ads telling you who to be, news telling you what to fear, friends telling you what's cool, it's easy to lose yourself. You react to a coworker's slight because you don't know your triggers. You chase trends because you don't know your values. You crumble under criticism because you don't know your worth. But when you look in the Stoic mirror, you map your inner terrain. You see the anger that flares when you're tired, the pride that creeps in when you're praised, the fear that whispers when you're alone. And seeing them doesn't make you weaker, it makes you stronger, because you're no longer a stranger to yourself. You're a friend, a guide, a student of your own soul. This takes courage, especially in a culture that rewards facades. We're taught to fake it till you make it, to hide doubts, to project confidence even when we're crumbling. But the Stoic mirror asks for something braver, truth. Not the brutal kind that cuts, not the glossy kind that flatters, but the steady kind that builds. Try it tonight. Sit quietly, no distractions, and ask Claire's questions. Or pick one moment from your day, a win, a fight, a quiet choice, and unpack it. What drove you? What held you back? What do you want to carry forward? Write it down or just think it through, but don't judge. If you lashed out, don't call yourself a failure. Note it, learn from it, move on. If you help someone, don't crown yourself a hero. Smile at it, let it ground you, keep going. This isn't about perfection. It's about progress, the kind that grows in silence, like a tree adding rings no one sees. What's powerful about this practice is how it frees you from the world's sway. Think of Jamal, a barista in Seattle who dreams of opening his own cafe. Customers can be brutal. One day they're raving about his latte art, the next they're snapping about a slow order. His coworkers aren't always kind either, whispering about who's slacking. At first, Jamal took it all to heart, letting praise inflate him and criticism deflate him. But he started reflecting each night, not to obsess, but to understand. He saw his passion for coffee, his impatience under stress, his deep need for fairness. Armed with that clarity, he stopped riding the roller coaster of others' words. A rude customer? That's their bad day, not his failure. A glowing tip? Nice, but not his identity. Jamal's still got dreams and doubts, but he's not lost in them. He's grounded in a self he knows and trusts. This mirror also deepens your connection to others. When you know your own flaws, you judge less. When you know your own strengths, you offer more. You listen without needing to prove yourself, love without needing to control, work without needing to perform. In a country where we're quick to label winner, loser, hero, villain, this non-judgmental awareness is a gift. It's the difference between arguing to win and listening to understand, between resenting a friend's success and celebrating it. You become a steady presence, not because you've erased your imperfections, but because you've made peace with them. You're not chasing an ideal self, you're growing into your real one, day by honest day. The Stoic mirror isn't a one-time glance. It's a daily ritual, a quiet conversation with the person you're becoming. Some nights, you'll see progress. Patience where you once snapped, courage where you once hesitated. Other nights, you'll see stumbles. A lie you told, a chance you missed. Both are teachers. Both are you. And both are steps toward a life where the world's noise can't drown out your truth. You learn to say, "This is me today, and I'm working on tomorrow," not with shame or swagger, but with the calm of someone who knows their path. As we grow clearer in this mirror, life's challenges start to look different. Not as threats, but as opportunities. What do we do when hardship knocks? When the world tests our newfound clarity? That's where our journey takes us next, into the fire that refines us. The fire within, letting adversity shape you. Picture yourself hiking a rugged trail in Colorado's Rockies. The path steep, the air thin, your legs burning with every step. A storm rolls in, sudden and fierce. Rain lashes your face, thunder rumbles, and the trail ahead vanishes into mud. Your first instinct is to curse the sky, to turn back, to wish you'd stayed home. But then you pause, wipe the water from your eyes, and keep going. Not because you love the storm, but because you know it's carving something new in you. Each muddy step, each gust of wind, is stripping away what's soft, revealing a strength you didn't know you had. This is the fire within, the Stoic truth that adversity isn't your enemy. It's your forge. It burns away the unnecessary, tempers your spirit, and shapes you into someone who doesn't just survive life's storms but thrives because of them. The Stoics, like Seneca facing exile with a steady heart, didn't shy from hardship. They welcomed it as a teacher. In modern America, we're taught the opposite. Avoid pain, Chase ease, fix problems with a swipe or a subscription. Our culture sells comfort as safety, but the cost is fragility. A missed promotion, a broken relationship, a sudden illness. These can feel like disasters when you've spent years dodging anything hard. But the Stoics saw adversity differently. It's not a punishment. It's a process. It's not something to fear. It's something to use. Every challenge, from a flat tire to a heartbreak, carries a question. What can I become because of this? To be unbothered isn't to sidestep life's fires. It's to walk through them, letting them refine you into someone clearer, stronger, wiser. Let's meet Sophia, a small business owner in New Orleans whose bakery was her pride until a flood wiped out half her equipment. The loss hit hard, savings gone, customers dwindling, her dream teetering. She could have given up, blaming the weather, the city, herself. Instead, she asked, "What's this teaching me?" The answer wasn't instant, but it came. Patience to rebuild, humility to ask for help, creativity to pivot. She started selling pop-up pastries at local markets, learned basic repairs to save costs, even hosted community baking classes in her half-fixed shop. The flood didn't destroy Sophia, it revealed her. She's not just baking now. She's building a legacy, not because the fire spared her, but because she used it to grow. This mindset shifts everything. In America, where we're quick to complain about traffic, politics, the neighbor's loud dog, seeing hardship as a forge feels revolutionary. It's not about pretending pain is fun. It's about refusing to let it define you. Think of a teacher in Detroit, facing a classroom of kids who test every nerve. Disruptions, defiance, chaos. It's exhausting. But instead of snapping or quitting, he asks, "What's this here to teach?" He finds patience in the outbursts, empathy in the defiance, purpose in the chaos. Each tough day hones his ability to connect, to inspire, to show up. He's not just surviving his job, he's becoming a mentor, because he's let the fire shape him, not burn him out. This isn't denial, it's alchemy. Adversity is raw material like clay to a sculptor. A rude coworker can teach you grace if you let their sharpness polish your calm. A missed deadline can teach you focus if you let the pressure clarify your priorities. A betrayal can teach you trust, not in others but in yourself, if you let the hurt deepen your boundaries. The Stoics didn't romanticize suffering. They respected it. They knew every problem holds a lesson, every struggle a chance to shed what's false, ego, fear, the illusion of control, and uncover what's true. Your resilience, your values, your capacity to keep going. Take Michael, a veteran in rural Montana grappling with PTSD after years of service. Nightmares, crowds, even small talk could trigger him, making daily life a battlefield. Therapy helped, but what changed everything was his choice to see his pain as a forge. He started running, not to escape, but to face his racing heart head-on, asking, "What can I learn from this fear?" Each mile taught him control, not over the memories, but over his response. He began volunteering at a local shelter, using his own wounds to connect with others. The trauma didn't vanish, but it became a fire that forged compassion, purpose, strength. Michael's not fixed, he's transformed, because he stopped fighting the pain and started listening to it. This practice takes courage, especially in a culture that equates struggle with failure. America loves winners, gold medals, viral fame, corner offices, but the Stoics valued growth over glory. They knew victory isn't always a trophy. Sometimes it's just getting up, showing up, choosing to learn when you'd rather hide. Try it next time life throws a curveball, say a family fight or a work setback. Don't ask, "Why me?" Ask, "What's this teaching me?" Maybe that argument reveals your need for patience. Maybe that failure sharpens your grit. Write it down, reflect, let the lesson sink in. It's not about ignoring the hurt. It's about using it like a blacksmith uses heat to shape iron, not to destroy it. What's radical about this fire is how it connects you to others. When you've walked through hardship, you see it in everyone else. The cashier's tired eyes, the stranger's slumped shoulders, the friend who's quieter than usual. Your struggles don't isolate you. They open you. You become the person who listens when others vent, who stays calm when others panic, who offers hope when others despair. Not because you're above pain, but because you've learned its language. In a country divided by shouting matches, online, on air, at dinner tables, this ability to use adversity, not be used by it, is a quiet revolution. It's a choice to grow through what hurts, to shine because of what burned. And the beauty of this fire? It's not just destruction, it's creation. Every challenge you face, every lesson you claim, adds a layer to your strength. You don't emerge flawless, you emerge whole, not because you avoided the flames, but because you let them refine you. You become someone who can face the next storm, not with fear, but with curiosity, ready to ask, what will this make of me? That's the power of the fire within. It doesn't just temper you, it illuminates you, a beacon of resilience in a world that needs it. As we learn to embrace adversity's lessons, we start to see a new rhythm to life, a daily practice that keeps us anchored, no matter the storm. How do we make that rhythm our own, turning philosophy into habit? That's where our path leads next, into the discipline that makes peace a way of being. Daily anchoring, crafting peace through discipline. Imagine waking up in a small apartment in Chicago, the city stirring outside your window, car horns faintly honking, the L train rumbling in the distance. Your phone glows with unread messages, your mind already nudging toward the day's demands. Meetings, errands, that email you forgot to send. It would be so easy to leap out of bed, chase the chaos, let the world set your tone. But instead, you pause. You sit on the edge of your bed, close your eyes, and take 10 slow breaths, each one grounding you in this moment. You jot down 3 things you're grateful for: coffee, sunlight, a friend's laugh. You read a single sentence from a book that steadies you. I am rising to do the work of a human being. This isn't just a morning routine, it's daily anchoring, the Stoic discipline of starting each day with intention, not reaction. It's the quiet act of claiming your peace before the world can claim you, of building a foundation that holds you steady no matter what comes. The Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius greeting dawn with a reminder of his purpose, knew that peace doesn't happen by accident. In modern America, where we're pulled by 1,000 strings, notifications, deadlines, the endless scroll of comparison, it's tempting to leave our mindset to chance. We stumble into the day, grabbing coffee, checking headlines, letting the first email or argument shape our mood. But the Stoics saw this as surrender. They believed you must architect your inner world, not just when life feels good, but every single day, through small, deliberate acts that tether you to your values. This discipline isn't punishment, it's protection. It's the scaffolding that keeps your clarity upright when the winds of life blow, the rhythm that keeps your heart steady when chaos knocks. Let's meet Emily, a social worker in Philadelphia who juggles long hours, heavy cases, and a commute that tests her patience. She used to wake up frantic, scrolling through bad news, rushing out the door already frazzled. By noon, she'd be drained, snapping at colleagues or doubting her work. Then she started anchoring her mornings. She gave herself 15 minutes. No phone, no noise, just a candle, a notebook, and silence. She'd write one goal for the day: listen with kindness. She'd read a Stoic quote, like, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." She'd breathe, feeling her feet on the floor, her heart slowing. It wasn't magic, some days were still brutal, but that ritual became her shield. When a client yelled or a case fell apart, she didn't unravel. She'd recall her morning's focus, take a breath, and move forward. Emily's not chasing calm. She's building it, one disciplined dawn at a time. This anchoring isn't about grand gestures. You don't need an hour or a meditation app. It's about consistency, about carving out a space, 5 minutes, 10, that's yours. In America, where mornings are often a race, kids to school, traffic to beat, emails to answer, this feels like rebellion. But it's the kind that saves you. Think of a barista in Portland, up at 5 a.m. for the early shift. Before he heads out, he sits by his window, sips tea, and lists 3 values: patience, humor, service. When a customer snaps over a wrong order, he doesn't take it personally. He remembers his anchor, smiles, and keeps going. That tiny ritual doesn't change the world, but it changes him, turning a tough day into a chance to live his truth. What's powerful about this discipline is its ripple effect. Your morning sets the tone, like tuning an instrument before a performance. Start sharp, and the day hums with purpose. Start scattered, and you're playing catch-up. Try it tomorrow. Pick 3 acts to anchor you. Maybe it's meditating for 5 minutes, feeling your breath like waves on a shore. Maybe it's writing one thing you'll do with integrity, call a friend, finish a task, forgive a slight. Maybe it's reciting a mantra, I choose my response. Make it yours. Make it non-negotiable, like brushing your teeth or locking the door. Some days you'll rush and forget. Others you'll feel silly, sitting there while the world screams for your attention. That's okay. Discipline isn't about perfection. It's about returning, about choosing to begin again, even when it's messy. In a culture that glorifies hustle, where productivity apps and coffee runs promise to own the day, Stoic discipline offers something deeper: ownership of yourself. It's not about checking boxes or posting your routine for likes. It's about a sacred conversation with your soul, a promise to meet the day standing in your strength. Think of a nurse in Miami, starting her shift in a chaotic ER. Before she steps in, she pauses in the break room, closes her eyes, and whispers, I am here to help. That moment isn't just for her. It's for every patient she'll touch, every colleague she'll steady. Her discipline doesn't just protect her peace, it multiplies it, a quiet gift to a noisy world. This anchoring also guards your values when life tempts you to stray. America's fast pace, meetings, trends, viral dramas, can pull you from what matters. Honesty, kindness, courage. But when you start each day rooted, you carry those truths like armor. A lawyer in DC, facing a high-stakes case, might wake to write, speak clearly, act fairly. When the courtroom gets heated, she doesn't waver. She's already set her course. A student in LA, stressed about exams, might begin with a walk, thinking, I'll do my best, no more. When a test goes poorly, he doesn't spiral, he's anchored in effort, not outcome. These rituals aren't escapes. They're commitments, reminders that your peace is yours to shape, no matter the day's demands. What's beautiful about this discipline is its universality. It works whether you're a CEO or a cashier, a parent or a poet. It works in a country where division and distraction run deep, where every ping feels like a call to arms. You can't control the news, but you can control the silence you claim before it. You can't control others' anger, but you can control the calm you cultivate to meet it. This daily practice turns philosophy into personality, making peace not a wish but a habit. It's the difference between hoping for clarity and living it, between chasing balance and building it, one grounded morning at a time. As we weave this discipline into our days, we start to notice something extraordinary. Our calm doesn't just stay within us. It spreads. How do we become a presence that soothes, that steadies, that changes the air around us? That's where our journey takes us next, into the power of being the calm in the room. Calm in the room, becoming a beacon of peace. Picture yourself in a crowded diner in Nashville, the clatter of plates mingling with loud laughter and a heated debate at the next table. The air feels charged. Someone's upset about politics, another's venting about work, and the waitress is visibly frazzled, juggling orders. You could join the fray, add your voice, match the energy. But instead, you sit quietly, sipping your coffee, listening without rushing to speak. When the waitress drops a spoon, you catch her eye, offer a gentle smile, and say, no rush, you're doing great. The tension around you doesn't vanish, but it softens just a bit. Your presence, slow, steady, awake, shifts the room, not by force, but by example. This is the Stoic art of being the calm in the room, a presence so grounded it invites others to breathe easier, to find their own stillness without a word. To be unbothered isn't just about your peace. It's about becoming a beacon of it, a light that others feel even when you're silent. The Stoics, like Epictetus teaching amidst Rome's clamor, knew that composure is contagious. In modern America, where reactivity reigns, think X posts sparking instant outrage, news anchors shouting over each other, family group chats exploding over nothing. This calm is rare, almost radical. We're wired to escalate, to clap back, to fill silence with noise. But the Stoic chooses differently. They don't impose peace, they embody it. They move with a quiet assurance that doesn't demand attention but earns it. A steadiness that doesn't overpower but uplifts. This isn't about being the loudest voice. It's about being the clearest, the one who holds space while others spin, who listens while others shout, who stays present while others scatter. Let's meet Javier, a high school counselor in San Antonio who works with teens navigating grades, drama, and dreams. His office is a whirlwind. Kids venting, parents panicking, deadlines looming. But Javier's different. He speaks 20% slower, listens twice as long, breathes before he responds. When a student storms in, upset about a failed test, Javier doesn't lecture or rush to fix it. He sits, nods, asks a question. What's one thing you learned from this? His calm isn't aloof. It's attentive, a signal that this moment matters. The student's anger fades, not because Javier solved the problem, but because his presence made it feel solvable. Teachers notice it too. Staff meetings, often tense, relax when Javier speaks, not because he dominates, but because his clarity pulls everyone towards center. Javier's not perfect. He gets frustrated, doubts himself, but he's trained to return to his calm, and that training changes the air around him. This power isn't reserved for counselors or sages. It's in you, waiting to be unleashed through practice. In America, where we're taught to stand out, be louder, bolder, faster, choosing calm feels like swimming upstream. But it's the kind of strength that doesn't need a spotlight. Think of a librarian in Minneapolis, managing a bustling community center. Kids are loud, patrons are demanding, and the Wi-Fi's down again. Instead of snapping, she moves deliberately, her voice soft but firm, her smile steady. When a frustrated parent snaps, she listens, nods, offers a solution without matching their heat. The parent leaves calmer, not just because their issue's fixed, but because her presence reminded them to breathe. Her calm isn't an act. It's a habit, built through years of choosing response over reaction, presence over panic. This practice starts small, but its impact is vast. Try it today. For one full day, aim to be the calmest person in every room. Speak a little slower, like you're savoring each word. Listen like you're hearing a story for the first time. Pause before you answer, letting your breath anchor you. You'll notice the shift. Conversations slow, tensions ease, people lean in. It's not magic, it's human. In a culture addicted to urgency, where every email is urgent, every post demands a like, your stillness is a gift. It says, we don't have to spiral. It's the difference between a meeting that derails into blame and one that finds solutions, between a family dinner that explodes and one that connects. What's profound about this calm is how it serves without striving. You don't need to fix others' problems or preach mindfulness, you just live it. Think of a construction worker in Boston, leading a crew through a brutal deadline. The site's chaotic, machines roaring, tempers flaring, but he's steady, cracking a joke to lighten the mood, giving clear orders without barking. His team works harder, not because he pushes, but because his calm makes the chaos feel manageable. He's not trying to be a guru. He's just being himself, grounded in a peace he's practiced daily. That's the Stoic secret. Your presence doesn't just anchor you, it anchors everyone who feels it. This calm also deepens your impact. In America, where division runs deep, neighbors arguing over signs, co-workers clashing over ideas, being the calm in the room is a bridge. You listen to the angry friend without judging, not to win, but to understand. You stay steady in a debate, not to dominate, but to clarify. You offer kindness when others offer heat, not to prove you're better, but because you know who you are. This isn't passivity, it's power, the kind that doesn't shout but resonates, that doesn't force but invites. You become a reminder that peace is possible, even in traffic, even in conflict, even in pain. And it's not about being untouchable. You'll feel the world's weight, grief, anger, fear, but you've trained to hold it without breaking. Think of a mom in Atlanta, soothing her toddler's tantrum in a grocery store while strangers stare. She's tired, embarrassed, but she kneels, speaks softly, stays present. Her calm doesn't just settle her child. It quiets the aisle, makes others soften, smile. She's not performing. She's practicing, drawing on the discipline, clarity, and resilience she's built over time. Her presence says, "We're okay," and the world feels it. This art takes time, and you'll falter. You'll raise your voice when you meant to listen, rush when you meant to pause. That's okay. Every stumble is a chance to return, to choose calm again. The Stoics weren't flawless. They were persistent, showing up to their practice day after day. You can too. Start where you are, with one breath, one moment, one choice to be the steady heart in a spinning world. Your calm will grow, and so will its reach, touching lives you'll never fully know. As we become this beacon, we close our journey with a truth. Being unbothered isn't just a personal victory, it's a legacy. How do we carry this forward? Living as lights in a world that needs them. That's the final step we'll explore, weaving all we've learned into a life that shines. The Stoic journey, weaving peace into life. Step into a quiet park in Seattle on a misty morning, the kind where the air feels alive with possibility. Dew clings to the grass, a jogger's footsteps fade into the distance, and a lone bench waits under an old oak tree. You sit, your breath visible in the cool air, and for a moment, the world slows. No phone, no rush, just you and this moment. A moment to reflect on the journey we've taken together. A journey through the Stoic path to being unbothered. From the power of inner calm to the discipline of daily anchoring, we've explored how to stand firm in a world that thrives on chaos, how to shape a life not defined by noise but illuminated by clarity. Now, as we weave these threads into a final tapestry, let's ask, how do we carry this wisdom forward, not as ideas in our heads, but as habits in our hearts? How do we live as lights in a world that needs them, grounded in peace yet open to life's wild beauty? Our journey began with the superpower of being unbothered, a strength not of cold detachment but of rooted presence. We met Maya, the Chicago mom who breathes through life's pressures, choosing calm over chaos to protect her spirit for her daughter. We learned that peace isn't a gift from a quiet world. It's a choice, a muscle we build in the roar of Times Square or the hum of a suburban kitchen. From there, we found the control compass, separating what's ours, our thoughts, actions, responses, from what's not, traffic, opinions, the past. Sarah, the Seattle nurse, showed us how to let a colleague's frustration slide, steering her energy toward her patients instead. We discovered emotional alchemy, turning raw feelings into refined strength. James, the Austin firefighter, paused in the heat of a mistake, choosing clarity over blame, proving that the space between stimulus and response is where freedom lives. We donned the armor of indifference, letting praise and criticism pass like breezes. Rachel, the San Francisco designer, smiled at compliments and critiques alike, anchoring her worth in her craft, not others' words. We embraced stillness in motion, rooting ourselves in the present. Maria, the Miami mechanic, found peace in the morning sun, tackling each task one bolt at a time, unburdened by yesterday or tomorrow. We chose voluntary discomfort, forging resilience through challenge. Ethan, the Silicon Valley coder, faced cold showers to face life's setbacks, learning fear shrinks when met head-on. We built the inner Citadel, a sanctuary of values. David, the Phoenix teacher, returned to his principles nightly, unshaken by viral criticism, a lighthouse for his students. We gazed into the Stoic mirror, knowing ourselves without judgment. Claire, the Austin manager, journaled her days, seeing strengths and stumbles as steps, not verdicts. We let adversity's fire refine us. Sophia, the New Orleans baker, rebuilt from a flood, turning loss into lessons of grit and grace. We anchored daily, crafting peace through discipline. Emily, the Philadelphia social worker, started each morning with silence, carrying kindness into chaos. And we became the calm in the room, radiating steadiness. Javier, the San Antonio counselor, slowed his speech, deepened his listening, and changed the air for every teen he met. These stories aren't just tales. They're mirrors, reflecting what's possible for you. In America today, where division sparks at every turn, on X, in offices, at family barbecues, this Stoic path feels like a lifeline. The world pulls us to react, to judge, to chase, but Stoicism whispers, "You are enough right now to choose differently." You can pause when anger rises, asking, "What would my best self do?" You can let a stranger's jab or a friend's praise pass, noting its weight but not carrying it, asking, "Why did I give this power?" You can set a chime to ring hourly, checking, "Am I here or drifting?" You can skip a meal or take a cold shower weekly, not to punish, but to prepare, whispering, "I am not my cravings." You can choose a mantra, "I remain unmoved," to steady you when stress mounts. And each night, you can reflect, "What did I do well? Where did I falter? What's tomorrow's step?" These practices, small as seeds, grow into a life where peace isn't borrowed but owned. Let's bring this wisdom into the chaos of 2025 America, where screens scream for your eyes and urgency feels like truth. Imagine you're stuck in LA traffic, your phone buzzing with work demands. Instead of fuming, you breathe, anchor in the present, and let the delay be just a moment, not your mood. Picture a heated Thanksgiving dinner, cousins clashing over politics. You listen, speak slowly, stay calm. Not to win, but to connect, your presence a bridge where shouting builds walls. Or think of a quiet evening alone, doubts creeping in. You journal, meet yourself honestly, and find strength in your own reflection, not the world's applause. These aren't fantasies, they're choices, rooted in the practices we've shared, turning philosophy into action. Here's my advice for living this now. Start small, but start. You don't need a perfect life or a silent world. Just one moment to choose peace over panic. If you're overwhelmed by bills, kids, a job that grinds, pick one practice. Maybe it's 5 minutes of morning silence, feeling your breath, setting an intention. Today, I'll be kind. Maybe it's a nightly question. What did I learn? Don't aim for sainthood. Aim for consistency. When you slip and you will, don't judge. Return. The Stoics weren't flawless. They were faithful, showing up to their values daily. You can too, whether you're a barista in Denver or a CEO in New York. This path doesn't ask for wealth or status. It asks for you as you are willing to grow. And growth isn't lonely. Share this journey. Talk to a friend about pausing before reacting, about letting criticism slide. Try a cold shower and laugh about it together. Reflect at night and text someone what you learned. In a country where we're quick to divide, over beliefs, teams, tweets, Stoicism builds bridges, not by erasing differences, but by grounding us in what's human. The choice to live well, to love deeply, to stand steady. Your peace doesn't just heal you. It ripples, touching coworkers, neighbors, strangers in line. You become a quiet revolution. Proving calm is stronger than chaos, presence louder than noise. So here's my call to you watching this on ZenLight 8. Don't just watch, live it. Pick one practice today. Pause, reflect, anchor, endure, and make it yours. Let it be your step toward a life where storms don't shake you, where you shine not to impress but to illuminate. We're building a community here, one breath at a time, and I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below with one word: presence. It's a reminder to yourself, to us, that you're choosing to show up, awake, alive, unbothered. Subscribe, hit the bell, and join us on ZenLight 8 for more ways to weave wisdom into your days. This isn't the end. It's the beginning, your invitation to live not as a reaction to the world, but as a response to your own truth. Let's keep walking this path together, one present moment at a time.